Hey, my beautiful bitches, it's me, Fiona St. James, and welcome to another episode of Fiona's Coffee Talks. And as always, I like to start off every day with a fresh, hot, black cup of coffee. Hold the cream! I'd love to. And of course, I think of my favorite quote of the century by Oscar Wilde, which says, "Life is too important to be taken seriously, so lighten up, folks." So today's topic is, drumroll please, Life of a Sex Worker, Part 7. Okay, so this is going to be another fun story. I've told stories before of past clients, so this one is about two specific clients that happened not too long ago, like probably within the last couple of years. So we're going to talk about the first one, who was this cop. I get a lot of like blue collar guys. So this is like this hunky white cop who like came and, a lot of times when I'm with these clients doing the massage, it's almost like a therapy session. Like a lot of times they talk to me and I think, they're looking for the intimacy, they want the human connection, but I think a large part is they just want someone to talk to. So he's telling me about his girlfriend, or fiance, I should say. And she apparently was a registered nurse, so she was making good money, but for whatever reason, I guess she thought that wasn't enough money, so she decides that she's going to like start dealing drugs. I didn't ask what kind, but weed, but whatever she was peddling. And he's telling me this, and I'm thinking to myself, "But aren't you a cop?" And he said to her, "You can't do that. Like, we're engaged, and I'm a cop, and you want to sell drugs." And so he's telling me this, and I'm listening to this thinking, what? And I guess he was thinking the same thing. So, but she was so adamant about wanting to do this, because I guess she wanted more money, which, you can't blame a girl for wanting more money, because I've always said a girl can never have too much cash. So she says to him, her rebuttal, when he was like, I pretty much telling her that she couldn't do it. She said, "Well, fine. If I can't sell drugs, then I'm going to become a prostitute." And he was like, "What?" And so I'm listening to this story as I'm like massaging him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." As I'm like trying not to laugh, because I'm like, "Is this for real?" Like, listen, I know sometimes some of the stories that I tell sound a little far-fetched, but I guarantee you that like I'm not that creative to make this shit up. So whenever I tell these stories, they actually have happened. It's just that's why I have my material. I'm like, all I got to do is wake up and live, and that's where I get my material, because the world we live in is kind of nutty. So, at the end of it, it was done and over with, and I only saw him the one time, so I don't know whatever came of it. I think he just needed to get that off his chest. So he leaves, and I'm like, oh my God, that was kind of like funny. I even remember thinking, that's going to be a video. So about 2 hours later, that same day, another client walks through my door. Now, the other thing that's happened lately, well, it's happened all along, but as of late, I get all sorts of clients, but lately I've been getting a lot of Hasidic Jewish men. And ZZ Top beard, they all come in their black outfits. I remember even like 30 years ago, I had this rabbi that I used to see religiously. No pun intended. He used to see me like literally once a week for like years. So I've always had my share of Hasidic clients. So this one, I opened the door. I have never in my life seen anything like this. This motherfucker was like 6'4", like 200 pounds. Even before he took anything off, you could just tell that he was built like a shit brick house. Beautiful face. So like his black ensemble that he was wearing, it was like nothing I'd ever seen. It looked like a fucking Prada suit. It was so like tailored and European cut. And he had the beard, but it wasn't like down here. It was like definitely tailored. He was like, like a metrosexual, as it were. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is like such a hot man. And sweet as apple pie. He was young, like 30 something. but fine as shit. And like as he took his jacket off and still had on his white button-down shirt, even with that, I could see how like chiseled and how beautiful his body was. And then like he took that off and then had on his little white t-shirt underneath. And then as I'm watching this man undress, I'm fucking salivating. When he took the pants off and had his boxer shorts on, I ain't gonna lie to you, but that thing was like, you even before he took that off, I was like, oh my Lord, huge. So then, like, when he subsequently took his shirt off and took off his boxer shorts and was completely naked, I was like, and what I always do with massages, because it is an intimate experience that, you know, just therapeutic and intimate. And I get that a lot of times they just want that human connection. I always start off every massage before they get on the table. I'm always like, come over here. And I like giving them a hug. And then we stand there for a few seconds. Well, I did that with him and we stood there for like a minute and he was like, boing. And so was I. And I was like, he gets on my table, I'm massaging him, doing all of that. And, you know, and we're talking and, you know, probably, if I remember correctly, wife, bunch of kids, you know, that's very commonplace with that. But there was something so beautiful about this man. And then when he turned over, girl, I don't know what came over me, but, you know, I have also said that I'm very specific where, like, if you hire me for one type of service, that's what that is. So massage is massage and it's this much. Escort is everything and it's this much. So, and I don't mix the two. If this is what you're paying me for, I'm not going to do that. I don't care how fine you are. Well, honey, that shit was thrown out the window that day. Thank God I hadn't eaten for like 2 days. So I was prepared because before I knew it, when he turned over and I was like, I don't know what came over me, but before I knew it, I was on that table on top of him and we're touching each other, making out and kissing, and he's hard. And before I knew it, we kind of like, you know, went all the way with it. And it was incredible. I can't even tell you what his name, Anthony maybe? No, I don't know. But all I know is that like I broke my cardinal rule, which is don't mix the two. And with him, I kind of really had no choice. And I refer to that story as when you treat a trick, because he paid for this, but he got that. And that's honestly, in the 38 years that I've done this, that is the only time ever that I crossed that boundary and went against my own work ethic. Because ethically, in terms of my work, I don't do that. But honey, I had no choice. I mean, what do you think I'm made of? Steel? What else could I do? Trust me, you would have done the same thing because this bitch was so fucking hot. And I find myself thinking of him sometimes. And he only saw me the one time, never contacted me back. So, and it was probably just like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. But those two guys happened the same day. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a fun video. So anywho, that's my story. I'm going to stick to it. So don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. So this is episode 7. So there's one more after this, and then I'm going to totally switch topics. So I did like life of an actor. This is life of a sex worker. Then the next thing is going to be life of a drag queen, empress, female impersonator. So that would be an 8-part series as well. All right, guys, as always, I'm glad that you're here with me. And thanks so much for tuning in. See you soon. Love you.